All right, today we're diving into something huge, the future of the global halal industry. We're talking about an economy that spans continents, touching everything from the food on your plate to the world of finance. But, as it grows at this incredible speed, it's hitting a major roadblock, a crisis of trust, really. So let's break it down.
And that really is the heart of the problem, right? In a market that's worth trillions, how do you actually guarantee trust and integrity when things are moving across borders? I mean, when a product travels thousands of miles, how can you, as the consumer, be 100% certain it meets those strict halal standards from start to finish? It all just boils down to one simple word: trust. The entire industry is built on.
Okay, so how is the industry actually tackling this massive challenge? Well, that's what we're going to explore. We'll look at the key innovations and strategies that are shaping its future. Everything from cutting-edge science to global policy. And we're using the latest research to guide us.
First things first, we've got to look at the foundation. I'm talking about the bedrock of the entire system, the technical and regulatory rules that make that trust even possible in the first place.
And it really all begins right here, with something called halal authentication. Now, this isn't just some sticker they slap on a package. It's a super rigorous scientific and procedural verification. You can almost think of it like a DNA test for product's integrity, making sure it's completely free from anything non-halal, all the way from the farm to your fork.
And believe me, that verification process is getting seriously sophisticated. The research points to a really clear three-step path forward. First, we're talking about expanding these highly specific molecular tests to cover way more processed foods. Second, it's about using advanced tools like quantitative PCR. Now, these don't just find contaminants, they can measure the exact amount with incredible precision. And finally, you take all that data and use it to set crystal clear, scientific thresholds for what is and isn't acceptable. No more guesswork.
And this level of scientific precision, it goes way, way deeper than you might think. We're not just talking about the main ingredients here. The real challenge a lot of the time is hiding in things like natural food additives. They can be a hidden source of contamination. And that's exactly where this kind of precise science becomes absolutely essential.
But here's the thing. All the great science in the world doesn't help much if everyone's playing by a different rulebook. Let's take two absolute giants in the halal industry, Indonesia and Malaysia. There's a pretty subtle difference in their slaughtering methods, specifically a procedure known as thoracic sticking. It might sound small, but that one difference can mean that a halal certificate from one country isn't automatically accepted by the other. It really highlights a crucial point. Harmonizing these standards is the only way to unlock truly global trade.
Okay, so we've talked about the rules and the science. But behind all of that, there are people. There are businesses. So let's shift gears and look at what's needed to empower them, especially the small and medium-sized businesses, the MSMEs, that really are the backbone of this whole industry.
To help these businesses not just survive but really thrive, the research points to a whole toolkit they need. This means getting education that's actually designed for their specific needs, not some generic course. It means making the certification process way simpler and less of a headache. It also means getting stronger support from government institutions and, at the end of the day, making sure that we, the consumers, are protected and feel confident in the products we buy.
And this quote right here, it perfectly shows what we mean by targeted education. This isn't about some boring, generic seminar. No, this is about designing a training program specifically for people working in a chicken slaughterhouse. It's about giving them the practical, hands-on knowledge they need to understand and implement halal requirements correctly. It's focused, it's practical, and it's what actually works.
So we've got a foundation of trust and a plan to empower businesses. But the halal economy is expanding way, way beyond the kitchen table. Let's take a look at some of the new frontiers that are opening up right now.
And you can see just how diverse this modern halal ecosystem has really become. I mean, sure, food and beverage is still a massive slice of the pie, but look at what's surrounding it now. We've got booming sectors like finance, tourism, pharmaceuticals, and even the complex supply chains that have to tie it all together.
Let's zoom in on tourism for a second. The goal here is to create clear, consistent standards for hotels, for restaurants, for attractions, so they can meet the specific needs of Muslim travelers. We're talking about everything from prayer facilities to reliable halal food options. It's really all about creating an experience that's both welcoming and fully compliant.
And then you have the absolutely critical area of medicine. Making sure that pharmaceuticals are halal certified is a huge and growing priority. But it's not just about certification. It also requires a major push in public education so people know what to look for and can easily find the information they need about certified options.
Now, from a purely business standpoint, all of this leads to a really fascinating question. Does being halal certified actually make a company more valuable? There's new research digging into how disclosing a halal certification affects a company's stock price and its profits, and it could potentially prove that this kind of ethical compliance is also just really good for the bottom line.
So when we pull all these different threads together, the science, the business support, the market expansion, what does the roadmap for the future actually look like? Well, it turns out a huge part of the answer lies in technology.
Yeah, the next frontier is all about integrating cutting-edge tech. Just imagine using artificial intelligence to monitor every single step of a supply chain in real time, or using blockchain to create a digital ledger, an unchangeable, transparent record of a product's entire journey. This is the kind of technology that could finally solve those core challenges of trust and scale in ways we just never could before. And that brings us to one last big thought. As the whole world looks for more transparency and more integrity in what we consume, could a tech-powered, unified halal standard become something more? More than just a religious compliance system? Could it actually become a new global benchmark for ethical, traceable, and trustworthy commerce for everyone? Definitely something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me.